Welcome to the UFO Planet News Report. I'm Darin Crapo. Today we have the top 5 UFO stories from March 2021. Those stories are: Fulton, California woman gets a scare when she goes for a pee during the night and sees a UFO. A large rectangular UFO caught on film flying over Las Vegas, Nevada. A passenger in a car films a UFO traveling fast in Keysby, New Jersey. A moon watcher in Las Vegas captures object passing in front of the moon. And a snowcat operator in California captures spectacular video of a UFO at the top of the mountain. The top 5 of March 2021 starts right now.
An object which is in the same place all the time, but it just needs to be tagging along with it.
Talk about scaring the pee out of someone. That's kind of what happened here in Fulton, California this past February 19th. A woman says she got up in the night to take a pee, looked out the bathroom window, and the object on your screen is what was staring back at her. After she took care of business, she arose from the throne and the object was still there. That's when she got her cell phone and captured this photo. Next, she went to wake up her husband so he could have a look. But by the time he was up, the object was no longer visible. The observer says she has no explanation for what she saw, especially since it was silent. Based on the photographs she captured on her cell phone, we seem to be looking at an object with 6 lower panels and 1 upper panel. 3 of the panels appear to be illuminated. The photo reminds me of a cell phone tower antenna, but we know that's not the case because the object disappeared. Cell phone towers don't appear and disappear. This is one of a mind-scratcher for sure. I hope you, my awesome viewers, have some ideas, because I sure don't.
UFO Planet.
Las Vegas, Nevada is the setting for our next story. This UFO sighting took place on January 9th between 7:15 and 7:40 a.m. The observer had just gotten ready to walk to a work conference he was attending when a hot air balloon caught his attention. He didn't think much of it and began scanning the sky, and that's when he noticed a very large, slow-moving, rectangular object. After a few minutes of personal viewing, he decided to take a video because he kind of figured no one would believe his story if he didn't have some proof. He wondered what it could be, moving so slow. It didn't look like any of the blimps he'd seen at sporting events, and he thinks it was moving far too slow to be a conventional aircraft and seemed way too large to be a drone. In reality, he has no clue what it was, which is why he says he submitted it for investigation. The observer summarized his experience this way: I saw a seemingly large craft, dark in color, moving left to right, somewhat steady, but very slow, almost hovering, traveling towards Las Vegas. You can clearly see a large rectangular object moving across the horizon. In some ways, it reminds me of the banner UFOs from Monroe and Nampa. Because there was a hot air balloon in the area, it would be wise for us to consider that. However, that wouldn't be my description of choice.
UFO Planet.
The shooter in this story made sure to let us know that the photos and videos were shot from the back seat of a moving vehicle and that he wasn't the one doing the driving. That's a good reminder to everyone. Pull over and let someone who's not behind the wheel capture the photos and videos. This story comes from Keysby, New Jersey, and was shot on October 18th in 2019 while the observer was on a road trip to Vermont. He described the object as a black diamond UFO in the sky. If you look closely, you can see another aircraft, or at least some sort of a craft, flying a bit higher and to the left of the diamond craft. Keesby is an unincorporated community located within Woodbridge Township in Middlesex County, New Jersey, United States. It is located on the western outskirts of Perth Amboy. We couldn't find any references online to military installations in the area, or any other government complexes for that matter. Are one or both of these objects ours, or might they have a much more interesting origin? Nonetheless, this daytime UFO sighting is sure to make the excitement level shoot up in the UFO community.
UFO Planet.
Anytime the moon is showing over Las Vegas, Nevada, there is a Facebooker who does a live mooncast. Twice now while doing her show, she has captured large objects passing in front of the moon. The most recent event took place on March 22nd when the footage you are looking at now was captured. People capture footage of objects passing in front of the moon more often than you'd think. The argument always ends up being whether the objects are something flying inside the atmosphere or above the atmosphere. Sometimes they look like satellites, sometimes birds, some look like airplanes, and we have even seen boomerang-looking objects. And then, of course, there are those objects that are just hard to distinguish. The object recorded on March 22nd tends to have the shape many would associate with an unidentified flying object or a UFO. Does that mean it is a UFO? Well, technically it is a UFO until it can be identified.
UFO Planet.
On Sunday, March 14th at approximately 1900 hours, an observer stepped out of his snowcat to stretch and noticed an object in the corner of his eye. At first, he thought it was maybe a bird, but it was way too big. He says there was no sound coming from the object, so that eliminates a plane or a helicopter. It was too windy for a glider and too windy for a paraglider. A significant storm was rolling in that night, and the object still maintained its path. The observer reports he could see a kind of a mist or aura around the object, especially on the video. He says it seemed like it would level out or turn 360 degrees back and forth, and was moving as it was flying. As you can see, he was in a valley, so if there was any sound, he would have heard it, and there was no sound. There were no lights, but appeared to have some sort of aura, as he mentioned before. The observer says the strange events did not end with the sighting. On March 17th, days later, around 2100 hours, he was in his snowcat again, at the highest point of the trails he grooms, when the speakers in the snowcat started to crackle and the music started to mesh with itself. He was listening to a downloaded song on his iPhone since there was no service out there. It was very calm that night when suddenly snow and wind abruptly surrounded his snowcat. This continued for about a minute and then went back to being calm again, and music went back to normal. This could have been a coincidence, he says, but he also says that he had a very strange feeling when it happened. The observer is currently working with UFO investigators who are examining the evidence.
UFO Planet.
I hope you enjoyed the top 5 UFO stories for March 2021. Visit our website at www.canadapolicereport.ca/UFO Planet. There you'll find 6 other UFO and science-related series, including the top 10 craziest UFO sightings, White House UFO, the MUFON Files, Crash, and more. I'm Darin Crapo. Thanks for watching the UFO Planet News Report.